My understanding is a Catholic person who wants to get a divorce has to go through the bishop. And if that person has not done so, if the bishop has not granted permission after whatever the procedure is, could a Catholic attorney defend that person in a divorce suit, and could a Catholic judge actually grant a divorce?
John Paul II wrote about, every year the Pope gives an address to the judges of the Tribunal of the Roman Rota, which is canon lawyers, and when he does that, his teaching kind of counts for the whole world. And John Paul II gave a teaching, I want to say 2002, it could have been 2004, where he was reiterating the long-standing church teaching that lawyers are not supposed to participate in helping a client whose purpose is to destroy their own marriage. So with no fault divorce, a lot of these people who are the plaintiffs, their purpose is to destroy their own marriage. And then in canon law, the petitioner in a divorce court doesn't have his or her own authority. Just like I don't have authority to go marry you in the front yard of the church and say it's a Catholic marriage, Catholics don't have their own authority to judge their own marriage case to decide whether they have grounds for permanent separation and should be going to the civil forum. So the bishop is the one who's competent to penalize somebody if they don't pay attention to that. So the petitioner shouldn't have been going to the civil court in the first place without an ecclesiastic investigation first. That's canon law in the United States, 100%. And then the lawyer, we have this concept, it's in civil form too, complicity. When you're helping someone commit a crime, you become committing a crime. Well, that's also a concept in the Catholic world. So he's tacitly condoning an marital abandonment, so he's not supposed to be doing that.
Right.
The judges, I can't remember how that played out.
My understanding, and it was only from something that I read that you wrote, I thought that the judges...
Like they should decline or something?
Yes, unless they know, the judges really should not be doing this unless they have all of the documents in order. Like, for example, if you go to get a divorce right now or whatever, they want to make sure are all the documents in order.
Right.
So would not the same thing be the case with a Catholic judge following Catholic law? Well, let's see the investigation. Oh, there's no investigation. I can do nothing about this. Because in the same way that the attorney may be complicit, the judge also could be complicit, because he's now not only as assisting, but actually is granting. So his guilt is even worse.
I'm not sure about how that goes. It's not fresh in my mind.
Okay. So tell me about the defender of the vow.
Okay, yeah. In an annulment case, you have in the Catholic universe, you have a petitioner that comes forward that's supposed to allege, well, they don't have any right to be a petitioner unless they allege some fault with the marriage that would be grounds for invalidity of the marriage.
It's not for divorce, it's for invalidity.
Right, for invalidity of marriage. In those cases, there's a job title this guy is called, or woman, I suppose, the defender of the bond. Because say you have a man who wants to get married again. Say you have a woman that's sick and tired of the whole thing and she wants out. So both of them want this decree of invalidity of their marriage, but the truth needs to be defended that they're actually married. That's where the defender of the bond becomes a third party in the case.
Okay.
So his job is to defend validity of marriage in every annulment case that goes through.
Okay.
In cases of separation of spouses, like for example this lady in New Jersey when she petitioned the diocese, there's another job called promoter of justice.
Okay.
So if there's a case between one party in the Catholic canon law system and they don't call it a defendant, they call it a respondent.
Yeah.
If you have a petitioner and a respondent, and the case involves the public good, then there's this third party person that needs to be brought in whose job title is the promoter of justice. And there's other kinds of cases in canon law where that might be involved. But I know in separation, because marriage is not a private entity.
Yes.
It affects the community, it affects the children.
Yeah.
So the church has an interest in defending marriage in general. So this third person is supposed to be involved. Okay.
If people actually felt that there was some type of a just procedure in the family courts and the divorce process and everything else, maybe you wouldn't even have to be raising these issues, except that it is from a Catholic perspective. But what's happening is, whether it's Catholic or non-Catholic or whatever, and I'm sure you felt this as well, that if you were looking for justice in a family court or in divorce, you're not going to get it.
No, because the plaintiff who's abandoning will get rewarded.
Yes.
The defendant who needs support will have lots of things taken away. Or they'll be forced to support the abandoner. There's something else I want to bring up about the civil forum. Because in the Catholic Code of Canon Law, the church recognizes there's 3 venues that could be deciding parties' obligations.
Okay.
There's the one I was talking about, the bishop's track. There's this other one which is a tribunal track. It's just a different staff people in the diocese, basically, in a different appeal path. So there's the bishop's track and this judicial track, but there's also the civil forum.
Okay.
The church recognizes all three of those venues could be deciding parties' obligations, but no one is allowed to go to the civil forum unless they've undergone an ecclesiastical process first. And one of the weights that the ecclesiastical authority is supposed to consider before ever letting someone go to the civil forum is whether the outcome in the civil forum is going to be contrary to divine law, or whether they're only dealing with the merely civil effects of marriage. But in essence, what this means is a bishop could give Catholic party who wants a divorce permission to go to the civil forum to decide obligations, and maybe that was going justly in the 1930s. But now, with no fault, nobody should be going to the civil forum because what they do is contrary to Catholic principles of marriage.
So I've got you. That's very interesting.